Well, some tough news for the Bucs and Jalen McMillan. Obviously, we talked to Todd Bowles after practice. First question was an update on McMillan, and it wasn't good. Much better than it could have. I guess when I say it wasn't good for this season, but it could have been much worse given the nature of the injury and with the neck and stuff. Look, he's going to miss at least 8 games. I was told that the earliest he would probably come back would be after the bye week. So they have a mechanism. There's like 2 players this year as sort of a new rule that you can designate for return that you can put on IR before the 53-man cut down, and he'll be one of them, obviously. So it's tough because I thought the strength of this offense was going to be the fact that um, Baker had so many targets, and it's just different when you have 3 receivers versus 2. And the fact that Godwin is going to miss time, probably at least a month, I would guess. Haven't heard anything on that front, by the way. But you still have Mike, and you had Ibuka, who's been tremendous, Emeka. And, with McMillan, that gave you 3 legit, problems, right, for defenses, because McMillan the last, 5 games had 7 touchdowns last year, more than any player in the league. I mean, the light bulb really went off for him. Route running was good. He understood the offense. He got to his spots. He caught the ball. He was having a great training camp. He shredded the Pittsburgh Steelers up there in practice. And, it's football, man. It's like, play him, don't play him. Like we talk about this all the time. I had my change of heart about Baker, although you made a good point before we came on, Steve, that, well, if they'd have played Baker, he doesn't throw a hospital ball right there and he's still running. And that, you know what? It might be as simple as that. Like it truly might be as simple as that. But, feel bad for the kid, but feel good for the kid that it's not a career ending situation, or that, God forbid, he, could have been much worse and changed his whole life. And so that didn't happen. But now, they're not the same team. I mean, they're not the same team. And, the good news is that they have 2 bona fide receivers, which most teams have. I mean, in their prime, if you just said, the Bucs are going to start the year with Godwin and Mike Evans, well, that's a handful, right? And whoever the third, whether it was Scotty Miller, or it didn't really matter who the third receiver was, you're just going to have 2 studs, and that was a good place to start. Now they're kind of back to that 2 stud routine, except that Mike is now 32, and he's had a history of injuries the last couple of years. He missed really parts or all of 4 games last season, and going by my notion that you don't get healthier and more productive as you get older. Now Mike has been consistent, but man, this is just one of those sort of, you kind of knew it was coming, but then when you heard it, you're like, ugh, this is going to have a major impact on their team. And not for nothing, I'll read you the list of injured players. This team has been as beat up as any in preseason this year.
It really has. And you put it best. You came into the season thinking we got 4 good receivers.
Yeah.
And we know Chris Godwin's not going to be probably there week 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And when he gets back, won't be 100%. But with Evans and McMillan and Ibuka, you can ease him in. Now you're without McMillan for at least half the season, if not more.
Right.
You still don't have any clue when Godwin's coming back.
Mm-mm.
You presume, hopefully, fairly early in the season, although my guess is he'll probably start on the PUP list and miss the first 4 games. He hasn't been doing anything yet that we've seen.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see Godwin until October at the earliest.
Right.
I really believe that.
So now you're starting with Evans and Ibuka. And Ibuka's look great, but let's not forget he's a rookie who hasn't played in the NFL yet. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Yep.
And then who's your other threat?
I mean, at this point,
Cade Otton's your next.
Well, Otton's a tight end, but he'll be a target for sure, and yet he might have to need him to help, block and protect the left side, because you're now without Tristan Wirfs, right? Jalen McMillan, and Chris Godwin. Like, those are 3 really important players for you, right? You're starting all pro left tackle, a Pro Bowl receiver, and now a guy whose upside is enormous that was no worse than your number 3 and probably your number 2 receiver going into the season with Godwin down.
And Rachaad White is a weapon out of the backfield in the passing game.
Rachaad White has been nicked up. Now, he did come back to practice, so I think he'll make it back by the first game, I think.
You think?
But there's no guarantee. But at this point, the drop-off, you can't ignore it. I mean, you're going to go to Sterling Shepard. Trey Palmer, right? Raheem Jarrett. Like those are the guys that are next. Um, and look, I think Sterling Shepard's had a really good camp. He's healthier than he was a year ago. He had like 34, 35 catches last season. Baker's known him since college. He's looked fast. He had a good game the other night. I think he led them in receiving. He had 3 or 4 catches. So it's not like the cupboard is completely bare, but by the same token, it's not the same player. Obviously, can you get by? Maybe for a couple months, a month.
Yep.
But to think you're going to go, 8, 9 games, and you're not going to sustain another injury to Mike Evans or to Emeka or anybody important on that offense is naive.
Yep.
So it's a different. It's a whole different situation now. And like I said, we'll get to the defense in a second. They have more injuries
right
collectively than the offense does.
But offensively, one more thing to consider.
Yeah.
Is okay, you've got all these injuries. And Tristan Wirfs being probably the biggest one. And then
sure, Godwin, now McMillan.
You have a brand new play caller who's never called plays before.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
And now he's got to make adjustments. And
yeah.
he may not be able to call the whole play sheet that he wants and the whole play.
Not a chance.
Because I need someone to chip over here on Charlie Heck's left side or whoever's playing that.
Absolutely.
And now I may not have Rachaad White coming out of the backfield the first couple games. And I don't have Jalen McMillan. I don't have Chris Godwin. How's he going to adapt and never having called plays before? Not saying he can't do it, whatever, but it's not an experienced play caller that, Todd Bowles gets a bunch of injuries on the defense last year, but he's got chess pieces and knows how to move them around. And
he's smoke and mirrors, basically.
Been doing it for a long time. Now, defense is different than offense as well, but and so it's going to be an early test for Josh Grizzard to see how he does and how he and Baker and the whole offensive staff adapt and figure this out. I mean, you always have, you don't go through a season in football and not have injuries. The sport's too violent, too physical. You're going to. So you always have these stretches. You don't want it at the beginning with a new play caller there. Now, you have a lot of other experience on the offensive side, so that helps.
Yeah.
Everyone's back. That's, even the guys you're talking about have played here before, Shepard and Jarrett,
they've all made plays. Yeah.
Right. And your backfield, you still have, Irving and Tucker if Rachaad White can't go. And
sure.
So it's not like it's a bunch of new guys too. So that helps. And there's a lot of continuity there, even with the injuries. But it'll be interesting how Josh Grizzard starts it and then adjusts within a game and then game to game as far as it goes, because it may not be exactly what he was hoping he'd be able to call to start the season.
Oh, he doesn't have the same group of people, so no, it's not. And I think that they have a chance to, the best they can do is weather this early part of the season and wait for the time when they get Godwin back, when they potentially get McMillan back. And then you hope that you got Tristan. You hope you don't have any more injuries, but there's no question to me, like, you're going to have to run the football, and people are going to know that's what you want to do, because for starters, you don't have the left tackle, so. That tells you right there, like, we're not going to always trust our protection and just leave Charlie Heck one-on-one out there. So you're going to have to throw the ball in rhythm. You have to throw it quick. I think Bucky Irving becomes a bigger player for them, and not only in the run game. Like, we saw Bucky run, a route the other day and beat the linebacker down the field for a touchdown pass, and he looked really good doing it. Like, you're going to have to be creative. Cade Otton, when he was called upon, showed he could spit out a couple 100-yard games. Now how much is Cade going to be utilized to help Charlie Heck? We just don't know that yet, but they'll have to do it a different way. And if you can hang on and get your horses back, then you'll be much better for it. But man, it's tough. Like, you just don't want to have one position kind of have a run of injuries there.
Well, that's what happened last year in the defensive secondary. This team was dealing with that last year. It seemed like everybody in the secondary was getting hurt. And, you're going to have injuries in football. You hope it doesn't pile up in one position or position group. And it seems like it's starting to happen for the Bucs this year again, just on the offensive side.
Well, the strength of their team is still their offensive line. Heck notwithstanding, you still have, 4 of the 5 guys together, and they leaned on people last year. They moved some guys. You just have to hope that you can get it done until Wirfs comes back. And I'm a believer that Wirfs is going to be back sooner than later, because I just think he's a quick healer, has a high threshold of pain. I mean, that's one of the reasons why the surgery was so late. He was asymptomatic. He had a torn MCL and really didn't feel it, which is odd, but it's true. So, might have a situation where he gets back a little sooner, maybe before, October. Maybe he only misses a week, maybe 2, instead of the full time. But, this is tough. And you feel, like I said, if Bridgewater's, if he had played with McMillan before, and we're talking about starting Baker, and you made the point, like, Baker starts that ball, he's probably still running with it. You know what I mean? But it's just one of those things where you got to play football, man. Football's a dangerous sport, and it's not, the Bucs are not the only team that's had injuries. They seem to have had more than many, but I don't know how many of these are long term. Obviously Godwin's is, and now we know McMillan. That's a bad place to start. And the other thing you got to account for too, like, is Mike Evans not going to get hurt? Is Emeka Buka never going to get hurt? Like, he's playing his first NFL season, so you're just kind of thin there. But you have, the way it was said to me by some folks I talked to the Bucs was, look, no matter what, we still feel like that we've got 2 really quality receivers, and not many teams have that, right? Like, if they were in their heyday, if there was Godwin and Evans, you felt really good about it. So, what you're talking about now is that you feel fortunate that, number one, he's not worse off, but you also feel like that, they have a damn good 1-2 combo with another awesome player, like Godwin, that's working hard to get back. And then the guys that they will turn to fill those spots at receiver, they've all played. Like, they've all played and made plays for this team. So these aren't like, newcomers that you just signed off the street. Shepard caught 30-something balls last year. They've got guys that have played. So, hey, it's all hands on deck. It's an opportunity for some of these guys who are going to get cut. One or more of these guys was going to be on the street, and now they're going to have a job at least for half a season or longer to show what they can do. But it's a bummer. I mean, there's no way to paint this positively. It's just it happened, and it's you feel bad for the guy, but it could have been so much worse. Like, have you seen that play over? I've seen it at least 20 times. And the still shots alone, the AP photographer just got the perfect angle, the perfect shots of it. And when he comes down and that head and neck is bent, to his chest like that, it's so scary. It's just so scary. Like, he really was, I would write fortunate, as bad as everybody's, oh my God, oh no, not again. No, the word is fortunate, because that was a very scary fall, not the hit, but he took his legs out, and when he dropped them on top of his head like that, and on the back of his neck and stuff, that could have been way worse. And I think that's the biggest sentiment over there, is that, what, we're kind of breathing a sigh of relief. We're kind of happy that, he has a career, because I'm telling you, doesn't take much at all for a player with a neck injury to change their physiology to where they're not allowed to play, right? You get a little narrowing of the spinal cord, you get a disc that's herniated enough to the point where it's not stable, or you need a vertebrae fusion. Mike Allstott actually fused 2 vertebrae together in his neck and came back and played. Now, he didn't play long, and then it became a situation where he had to retire because of it. But these guys, they do a lot of things to stay in the game. I haven't heard that that Jalen has to do that. We just frankly don't know exactly what it is they saw, but they certainly saw enough to keep him out half the season, and try to recover that way. What are you gonna do? We can't have nice things, Steve. It's just
that is Tampa our motto here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, kind of like the Rays. We'll get to them here in a second.
Ooh.
Oof. Shane Baz.
Must win.
Yeah, must win. Exactly. Oh, God. But so the Bucs they'll play. They got practice today. They'll practice again also on Thursday. No media on Friday. In the game, of course, Saturday night against the Buffalo Bills, a team that they play later this year, and it's all going to be about rookies going out there trying to make the team. The last few spots on the roster, which seems to create more opportunities every day with these injuries. So they had kind of a hour and a half practice or so, I guess, on Tuesday, and it wasn't anything special about it other than I was watching Levante David one-handed interception, like kind of Odell Beckham like. It was pretty cool actually to see. But they're just going to kind of get ready for this last preseason game, and then before you know it, cuts are going to be like on Saturday. Now, here's the full list of players who didn't practice today. Tell me if this would concern you. Jamel Dean, cornerback. Benjamin Morrison, cornerback.
Yes.
Josh Hayes, not so much. Tyreek Funderburk, depth. How about this one? Safety, Tyke Smith. Yes. Here's one that's really going to, and this guy's not going to be starting the season. Safety, Christian Izien. Christian Izien has an abdominal injury. What do you call those things? In the middle of their oblique. Yeah, an oblique injury, which is hard to define how long that takes. It's a very painful injury. So he's also out. McMillan, we talked about. Another wide receiver, Jacob Harris. Another wide receiver, Dennis Houston. Probably no chance of making the team. Defensive lineman, Mike Green, who plays. Antonio Greer, who had the interception that set up the game-winning field goal. He's injured. Jake Rogers, who's a center and probably could be their number 2 center, he's injured. And then Raquan O'Neal, who's a new offensive tackle they got not long ago. That's just the list of guys who didn't practice on Tuesday, right? And that list could grow or could diminish depending on how they feel. Winfield was back, which was good news. They've gotten a few guys back, but man, they're a beat up football team, and the good news is you're still a couple weeks away from playing in Atlanta, but the bad news is that, geez, man, you still got another game to play. You're going to keep your starters out for the most part, but they're a long way from knowing who's going to be available week 1, and this is the assassins that kill teams in the off season. They just do. But it's football. It's football. It's part of the game. I don't know how you accept it, but that's what it is. And you just got to hope that McMillan, when he comes back, he can. And the other thing is there's momentum, right, going into the season. You've had a great training camp. You've had a good preseason. You're ready to go. And then, boom, this happens. Well, you can go out there and run on the grass all you want to, and you can even maybe practice for a week or two, if they give you that 21-day ramp up. But there's nothing like having the momentum of a training camp to start the season with. You're in shape. The timing is good. You're ready to go. You're chomping at the bit. And, now he's going to have to come back and work on his own. He's going to have to work on his own to try to get, that game feel back. So it's unfortunate. It really is. Hey, but I know what might make you feel better if you're a Bucs fan, and that's if you get on down to Breitling Boutique at International Plaza Mall. The Breitling Company's been making the best Swiss watches now for over 140 years. They've been at International Plaza Mall for more than 5 years. You want to go to the center of the mall, second floor. That's where you're going to find the Breitling Boutique customer service folks. They are tremendous. They're used to dealing with professional athletes and celebrities, and they'll treat you like a celebrity as well. Go in there and spend some time in this store. It is amazing. They're going to pour you a drink. They're going to tell you about all the different products that they have. Men's watches, the Navitimers, the Chronomats, women's watches. These are sports watches that are extremely durable and absolutely beautiful for your wife, for your girlfriend. And while supplies last, and that's the key, they have been celebrating the NFL's 104th year anniversary with 32 different team watches. Again, while supplies last, these watches have the team colors on the face of the watch. They're beautiful Chronomat watches with the logos. You have to see them. Go to tampabay.com. You check out one from the Buccaneers. It is Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. When you get there, please let them know that you heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. I saw something I hadn't seen in a long time, Steve. I turned on the Rays game, which was delayed by rain. It was perfect timing for me because I had been out to dinner. When I came home,
well, hold on. I don't think it was delayed by rain. It was lightning because I think it was actually looked beautiful there, but they had lightning in the area.
Oh, okay. Well, it rained everywhere else. I mean, it rained like hell where I was at. But regardless, it was a delay. And I guess Baz had warmed up, and then he had to sit down, and he came back, and he started this game when they resumed it, or actually began the game in the first inning. And have not seen back-to-back-to-back jacks in quite some time. But that's what he gave up. And he's been victimized by the home run ball this year. His ERA by now, I think, based on what I saw on the TV screen before Aaron Judge, hit the first home run, is got to be like 5 runs a game right now.
It was 4.93 going in, so it's definitely over 5 now.
So what happened to Shane Baz exactly?
Well, as we're watching this, it's now the bottom of the third.
Yeah,
he's given up 5 home runs.
Oh my God!
Because he gave up a 2-run shot.
Caballero hit one too. Yeah,
in the second, then he gave up a home run to Jazz Chisholm in the third.
Yee.
So it's now 6-2 right now, bottom of the third. But he's given up 5. The team record and major league record for home runs given up in a game by a pitcher is 6.
Okay.
James Shields did that for the Rays at one point.
Huh.
So we'll see if history's in the making tonight, maybe. Not for the way you need to as a Rays. I mean, we talked about how important this series is for the Rays. And this is the team you're chasing. You're 6.5 games back of them in the wild card. You have a chance to make up 2 games. Actually, this is if you get swept in this series, you're 8.5 back. If you sweep them, you're 4.5 back. It's a 4 games. I mean, it's a 4-game swing.
Possibly. It's a huge swing
with 35 to play after this series.
Yeah,
I think Evan Klosky had a stat going into tonight's game. In order to get to 86 wins for the Rays, may not get you the playoffs. 86 wins. Mm-hmm. You can only lose 1 game for every series you have left.
Wow. Even if it's a 4-game series?
Yeah, well, I would count the number of series they have left and the number of games to get to 86 wins.
Well, whatever that is, you can lose 1.
This is a 2-game series. I think they have a couple 4-gamers, but and then they have,
that's quite a formula to remember, though, right? Like,
which
you
means,
can only use 1 game.
Which means you've got to win at least 2 out of every 3.
Yeah,
that's really what it's telling you.
And to be honest, probably sweep 1 here along the way somewhere.
And when you're playing the Yankees, or next week you're going to get the Guardians, who are ahead of you in the wild card chase. Like, those are the teams you have to beat,
right? Because
you can't give up games. Pass them. That's who you're chasing.
Yeah. Look, I mean, let's agree. It's not going to happen.
No.
It's just not. It never felt like it was going to really since, I don't know, it's been some time. Let's just put it that way.
And the hard part is it's the math. So, look, the Rays were what? Back in 2011, or with 12, whatever year it was, 9 games back of the Red Sox going into September. But there was 1 team to catch. The Rays are behind, the Yankees and Mariners, I think, are tied for the second wild card. So the second and third wild card. But then you've got like the Angels, the Guardians, the Rangers. Angels may not be right, but you've got 3 teams you got to jump over just to get to the third wild card team.
Well, the first problem is you're not playing well. The first problem is that the starting pitching is not good anymore, right? The bullpen has struggled pretty much the whole year. You take Aranda out of this lineup, they've not been the same lineup, right? Outside of Jose Caminero and the occasional, Brandon Lau, big fly. I mean, who's getting it done here at the plate? It's not as good. They're not as good. They're not the same team they were when they were, on that streak somewhere between the middle of May until June. Mm-hmm. So there's just no indications. And look, we're going to go back and do the forensic analysis of this season. They're going to talk about Steinbrenner, and they're going to talk about, injuries, and they're going to talk about, I don't know what they're going to talk about, but at the end of the day, they weren't good enough. They're not good enough. Now, what do they do in the off season and the new ownership's coming in? There'll be changes there. I don't know. I mean, they got some pieces, and Jose Caminero certainly looks the part. Aranda had a hell of a year before he got hit and got injured. But I mean, this starting pitching, we don't know where McClanahan's, if and when he's ever going to come back. And I think they've proven to be less than what they thought they would be. Their best pitcher is Drew Rasmussen, and he can only go 5 innings. So that doesn't help you.
They're limiting his innings.
Well, I know, but that's the point, though. You don't have a guy like he can go out. He might throw. He's their best pitcher. He might throw five innings and give up 1 run, but you can't have him for 6 or 7. And he's your best guy, and everybody else not as good. You traded Taj Bradley. He was struggling up and down from Durham. Nothing has really gone to plan. No one has been able to say. I remember when Shane Baz, when the season started, I was in the clubhouse because I did one of those early games. I think he had 3 outings, right? Like 3 outings. And he might have been 2-1 or 2-0 or something like that. But, his numbers were ridiculous. Like, I don't know that he had given up many runs or a run. And MLB Network was talking about like, oh, this guy could be, a young Cy Young Award candidate. Well, like just since that moment, since that time, 3 or 4 games into the season,
it's
just not gone well.
Well, through 3 starts, he had a 1.42 ERA.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Now, then his 4th start, he gave up 5 runs in 3 1/3 innings.
Woof.
But he started 3-0 through his first 5 starts.
Yeah, they were talking about, he's this guy could be an all-star. He's made the turn. I was there. I was talking to him about it. What's been the difference? Well, slider. I don't know. He needs another pitch.
Yeah, his ERA has basically been hovering around 5 since the 7th start of the season. And it's basically been hovering, give or take a half run, maybe 3/4 of a run. But now he's above 5.
I wonder at what point they say, like, let's just see if Ian Seymour can start for us.
Well, he came in now, so Baz will not set the record for home runs given up in a game. So.
Well, that's good. There's that. Oh, goodness.
Look, if you lose, assuming they lose the game Tuesday night as they're trailing right now, and if they lose on Wednesday and you're 8.5 back of the wild card, that may be the point where you start going, okay, Seymour, you're starting now.
Right.
And, do you even shut Rasmussen down because you don't want to
maybe
do that? Or,
you hate to roll out the white flag, but
well, but it's not necessarily, it's kind of a white flag, but it's also, you are really high on Ian Seymour. So let's see what he can do.
You're looking for answers. Yeah.
But you're also trying to prepare for next season. Like, do you bring up Carson Williams and give him a go?
I think I might.
Those would be the decisions they have to decide. Are they? And it's not so much giving up, although it kind of is, but you're also trying to get experience for these guys for next year so that they're ready. They may play bigger roles next year. Ian Seymour could be in your rotation next year.
And you might get a spark, like you just don't know. But at some point you're going to decide, like, okay, we're not going to, in all reality, we're not going to do this year. We need to help ourselves for the year from now. By the way, Aaron Judge, the ball that he hit, oh my God. I don't know what they said it was, 450 or something like that.
Well, how about the one Stanton hit? It was behind him.
Yes, I know.
Granted, it wouldn't have gone out a lot of parks because it was to right field, but it was still
we're gone out of Yankee Stadium.
But it was behind him, when he hit it. Like,
there's letting him travel, and then there was what he just did.
Yeah.
Geez.
Caballeros is only out in Yankee Stadium.
Cabby's was a cheap, one
right
of those
down
Yankee Stadium home runs, yeah.
And right after he got the video tribute, too. Like, before that half inning, he got the video tribute in the stadium, and then he goes and it's a 2-run home run.
I asked you, like, was he here long enough to qualify for a video tribute? But it turns out he's played about 200 games. So
225 games. Last year led the majors in stolen bases and was leading the majors in stolen bases when he was traded.
Yeah.
Some significant time.
He played well, but at the end of the day, like, how many great players are you trading to the division rival Yankees? Unless you get something really good back, I suppose.
Well, they like Everson Pereira, and there's still a player to be named later that we haven't heard. That's Eric Neander, said was a significant piece.
But it must be a pretty good haul, because I don't think you do that, right? Unless either one, you don't think the Caballero's a very good player, or two, you got really good stuff back in return.
Well, particularly Caballero, you still had years of team control.
Right.
It's not like he's a rental or anything. So
he's also a guy that can play like 12 positions on a 9-man baseball team. You know what I mean? Like he you put him anywhere and he'll do a decent job. He's playing third base for the Yankees right now.
First pitcher in MLB history to face 6 batters in first inning and allow 3 home runs and strike out 3 batters. Shane Baz.
Hey man, when he wasn't giving up home runs, they had no chance against him. 3 strikeouts.
That's a great stat FanDuel just put up there.
It's fantastic. Yeah. Baseball's full of these quirky. See something every day you never seen before, Steve.
You do. That's why I got to watch the games.
It's baseball. Yeah. Got to watch the games. Well, they're going to walk Aaron Judge like a poodle the rest of the night, I think. But you know what's amazing is like this game was rain delayed. I don't know, maybe a couple hours.
2 hours. Yeah, it started about 9:30 or so.
It's packed. Like nobody left.
It's the Yankee fans.
I know, but nobody left. Like no one. It's all Yankee fans.
Well, but their team only comes here twice a year now, not 3 times. So they're packed. And this is their spring training home that they go to. So
and there's only 10,000 seats. Yeah. It's crazy looking at it though. It's like, wait a minute, you guys are delayed 2 hours and the place is stuffed.
Yeah. But it also didn't rain. I don't think it rained there. Maybe it did a little bit, but it wasn't.
They had it covered, but I don't know how much it rained.
But I mean, I don't think it really wasn't the rain. It was more the lightning was in the area.
Yeah, yeah. It was a fairly significant storm that moved west to east. We caught it bad up here in Lutz, but it looked a little clearer down there. So they did a nice job.
We didn't get anything here in Valrico, so
yeah, they got the field ready pretty well, and you know.
Oh, looks like Mike Evans is at the game tonight.
Mike Evans was, and he told me he was going the other day. I sat down with him. I don't know if I said that on this podcast, but basically, he had been invited to come to batting practice for before the game. Not that he took any swings, I don't think, but it turns out he's a really big fan of Aaron Judge and vice versa. Like him and Judge have become friends. And Mike is a sports nut, right? Like he follows all sports, particularly the NBA. You know, because he would have been, I think, you know, a pro basketball player if it had gone that way. But his favorite player of all time is Dwayne Wade, and he got to be pretty good friends with Dwayne. You know, and you know, then through Dwayne he met LeBron, and now he's a big LeBron guy, and you know, all that sort of thing. Speaking of home runs, Stanton just hit his second.
Now there's the 6th one the Yankees have hit tonight.
This one's 3 runs. Not as high, not as far.
9-2.
What did he used to say for Stanton when he hit one? Stand for Stanton. I don't know. Used to be, all rise for the Judge.
Yeah, I forget the Stanton one.
They're having fun at the old ballpark, man.
Yes, they are.
They feel right at home. Funny how that works.
Except they didn't get to enjoy the rain delay or the lightning delay in their
spacious clubhouse. I know.
The Yankees have been hot. I mean, they've won 3 in a row coming in, 7-3 their last 10. I mean, they've kind of turned it around.
Listen, if they get pitching, do you really think they don't have a chance against anybody? I mean, they can swing it, man.
Oh, they can swing it.
They just got to have some better starting pitching. Yeah.
Although as Judge goes, I mean, they're saying Judge is here. The other hard part for them is Judge's throwing is not going to be good the rest of the year.
He's going to have to DH, right?
Which means Stanton has to play.
Oh, my God. Another one has just been murdered in real time as you listen to this podcast.
The 7th one, Ben Rice. 10-2.
So, man, Ian Seymour might not be the answer. I don't know what the question was, but he might not be the answer. It's one of those days, right, where everything they hit is flying out of the park. Almost like it's their park or something. Hey, you came into our house. Oh, wait a minute. You came into your house.
Yeah. But the one problem they're going to have is Stanton has to play right field in the playoffs.
Oof. Yeah, that's a liability out there. Now they got to keep his bat in the lineup, though. They start bashing like this, nobody will beat him, obviously. Well, tough day for the Rays, and now if Evan Klosky is right, they have to win tomorrow. It's a must-win game.
I mean, you're just trying to stay 6.5 back in the wild card by winning tomorrow, assuming this game they don't come back.
They don't. Yeah, right. Probably won't. Wow, just rips everywhere.
Well, speaking of the Rays and bad outings, we have Mr. Spring-Loaded for Negativity on the show tomorrow.
No, we don't. No. You invited him on?
Yeah.
And he said yes?
He did.
Wow.
We have found him.
I thought he'd be too...
He ghosted me for a couple days.
I know he does that. I thought maybe he was too busy, with the summits and whatever the hell is going on these days.
Well, MS Now, I think isn't that the MSNBC?
Yeah, they rebranded MSNBC. Yeah. Lots going on in network television that he's having to write about in his newsletter, I'm sure. And it's kind of a political.
I read it every day from pointer.org.
You better.
I do.
Monday through Friday, pointer.org. That's why we can't get him sometimes. He does respond to some funny memes that I send once in a while, though, but that's about it. All right. Well, the good Tom Jones, in case you're wondering who we're talking about, my former radio partner, longtime columnist at Tampa Bay Times, will be on.
And we won't be talking about the summit. We'll talk about sports.
No, I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about that. Well, I mean, it'd be great if there was, a resolution to that war, but I always go back to war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. And that's what we will not be talking about. But we'll get his thoughts on everything else. Maybe we'll get his thoughts on Breitling Boutique. Maybe he needs a sports watch or something. But if he does, he needs to go see the folks at Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. They got men's watches, the Navatimers, the Chronomats. They got women's watches, sports watches, and NFL's 32-team watches as well while supplies last. It's Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. Please go there and tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. Tough day for Jalen McMillan and the Buccaneers. We'll see what they have in store for us tomorrow. And in the meantime, thanks for listening. I'm Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times, along with Steve Versnick. We'll talk to you tomorrow.